Good morning, everyone. We had a couple more questions. We hadn't done any in a little while, so we thought we'd answer these. And if anybody else has any more they'd like to send, we'd be happy to try to give a biblical answer, because that's what we're here to do, is just give biblical answers to questions about biblical things, and not anything out of our own minds. We're going to try to stick to the Word. The first one was, how old will we be in heaven? And the question 100% would be, we don't 100% know. The Word, anywhere in it, doesn't give us any exact age. It gives us some clues and some hints that may lean more toward a younger appearing glorified body. But it really, in the end of the day, it's not going to make much difference whether it's a glorified body that appears young or appears advanced in age, because it will be a body without sin and without physical limitations we experience today. A body, well, I'll give you a couple of examples. In John chapter 20 accounts 2 different times Christ appearing amidst the disciples out of nowhere, and then also again appearing in a similar manner from not being there to being there to Thomas before he had his encounter and interaction with him. And also after he was glorified, he made other appearances. He appeared to Paul in Acts on the Damascus Road out of nowhere with light shining round about him. So that tells us, even though we're not equal with Jesus, but we are his children, and we are joint heirs with him to the Father. And the whole point of why we exist and why we were here was to glorify God in the first place. And we were made perfectly in the beginning with glorified bodies that were strong and able to withstand the presence of God. Now they cannot, but after the sin is done away with in totality, by the time of the revelation's coming, and we are in that glorified new body, we will once again be able to stand and enjoy in the presence of God, which now in these bodies we cannot do. So either way, I would, if I had to make a guess, I'd say maybe a young body, but only because we're thinking about young bodies as strong. But these glorified bodies, either way, will be incredibly strong, and the capabilities of them mentally and physically will be beyond what we can comprehend now. But only something that is of immense power physically and purity can stand before the Lord after sin has been dealt with. All right, and our second question was, why in the New Testament are Jesus' words accounted and read, but in the Old Testament, God the Father's words are not? It's a good question. It's just a preference of certain authors and editors of the Bible, because not every Bible counts Jesus' letters in red. I think it's a good idea to emphasize Jesus' letters. We should pay special attention to them, but we shouldn't only just pay attention to Jesus' speaking in the Bible. In your study of the Old Testament, I would like to see a Bible that would put God's direct words to the prophets, speaking to people in dreams, or however he chose to, in red. I think that would greatly emphasize God's actual words. That would be fine. But if you study it close enough, it's pretty clear. It always says, and thus saith the Lord, or God says this and God says that. But I would take those with absolute seriously in the Old and the New Testament. Take them as the same, because Jesus himself said, I and the Father are one. And he said, if you know the Father, you would have known me when I appeared. So I wouldn't put too much stock in the red letters, whether they're there or not. Just pay close attention to who's speaking and the context of the whole Scripture, because God tells us that all Scripture is given to us for sound doctrine and should be taken seriously as inspired from God. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good Sunday morning at church.